We've got the 8 worst things
that experts say in backpacking. Coming up right now.
Right now.
Hello, everybody. This is Derek, and with me today is the only man who attempted to wear peat moss as a toupee to the grocery store with his weighted backpack on, Carl Mandrioli. There he is. Peat moss. That's a stretch, buddy.
Actually, I should try that. That's kind of funny. Welcome to the Backpacking Delicious podcast, everybody. With me today is Derek Somerville. He's a man who thinks that he's an expert in parking a car. So he calls himself Par King.
Oh, wow. I can't. Oh,
that's right. That's embarrassing.
Brainstorming. That must go on. The brainstorming.
That's right. So we got terrible things. The worst things that experts say in backpacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. You come up with a list for this?
I have a few. Yeah.
Okay.
A few.
All right. I actually have not only, I felt like I didn't want to make up these, you know, how people like make up false claims and they're like, can you believe so-and-so said such and such? And then they have like this reaction to it. But in reality, they just like made up the claim. I actually researched to make sure that mine were legitimate things that are published somewhere.
These aren't personal things that happen to you?
I mean, like you're talking about like anecdotal, like you heard them say that like at an outdoor store, right?
I'm talking about things that people have said to you personally, thinking that they're giving you good advice.
I would count that too, but I tried to have it so that it wasn't just that. I wanted to have a variety of things and a variety of sources really to show that there's quite a lot of misinformation and nonsense out there.
There is a lot of nonsense.
And not just from our podcast. So
that's true.
Yeah. So anyway. Bible verse for the episode, Psalm 101:7. He who practices deceit won't dwell within my house. He who speaks falsehood won't be established before my eyes.
No, he will not.
How would you describe the so-called experts we're referencing in this episode? Are they practicing deceit or what?
No, I don't look at it like that. I think there are a lot of people who just give bad advice are people who are not open always to learning new things. I think that a lot of times it's those people who have the personality of like, I know everything and I know I'm right. Okay. And that's the end of the story. So, or it's like, oh, this happened to me on my trip over the past 20 years. And so this is the only thing that you should be doing or whatever. Yeah. Right. So
gotcha.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that,
rigid.
Yeah, they're just not doing their research or they're just throwing information out without considering the ramifications or if what they're really saying is legitimate or truthful or I think there's definitely some deceit going on. Okay. So? I don't think that they've vetted this information. Some of the folks that
you think they're intentionally lying?
I don't know about like lying is pretty strong.
Well, if you know that it's fake advice.
Misleading.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are they hoping to accomplish, you think, with that?
I think at least on my list, they're trying to accomplish becoming an authority on the subject. Like we know what we are talking about. So therefore heed this advice, y'all.
Like a fake REI team member or something.
Well, I have REI on the list, like off their website. I have something.
Oh, you found something. I couldn't find anything from them. So I'm curious what you found off of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I tried to just do one. I try not to pick up one group more than once. I do have REI twice because I found it. Well, one of them REI, and there's like another site that said the same thing. So
okay, I take that back. One of mine is from REI. So never mind. But it's personal experience.
Is it anecdotal? Is it from the guy that tried to sell you the day pass?
It's how can I not put that on the list? How can I not put that on the list?
That might be moving into the like top 10 story of all time, not just for a podcast, but for humanity. Derek.
Humanity needs to know what happened.
All right. I've got quite the long list, so I think I should go first.
You told me 2 or 3, and then you get like 12. What do you got?
Well, 10. I feel like it. I didn't 15. I've come up with these over a long period of time, and so I didn't I didn't expect you to magically match the amount that I had.
That's fine. That's fine. I know you always have a billion. We'll talk about mine in a little bit, and we'll get into yours, and then we'll keep going. Okay.
Do you want to ease into this? Or you want to go like?
Well, there's the obvious. You know, there was the guy. I won't name the names, even though we've talked about it. Who just said you need the minimum? He said the minimum you need for a multi-day trip backpacking is 42 liters. And I said, no, I don't think so. Here's the 36 that I have, and I think I can do
no to him. You weren't like,
I did
no,
say no.
I don't think so to his face. You didn't say that.
I said no. I was like, I don't know. I think I can go lighter than that. I don't think that's true. That's what I said.
That makes more sense. That's nicer.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna be a jerk.
But
I did challenge him. So
okay.
And
right.
Okay.
So and you challenged him, and then you bought the pack that
I bought it, and you know what? I don't think
and you throw it in his face every time you go to REI.
I don't think I don't throw it in his face. I don't think I ever told you this. This is a little nugget of the story.
Ooh.
We had the conversation. He saw me be like, you know what? I'm going with the 36 and I'm going to try it. I'm going for it. And he's like, okay. So he was watching me buy this backpack. And I remember looking over at him being like, yeah, I'm doing it. And so that's a little moment.
Is he following you to the register?
No. He was over by like the energy bar sections. No Snickers bar, obviously, but he was over there, and
is he peeking above the
just right above
shelving? Like his eyes are above the shelving. That's it.
Cliff bars were right below his nasal bridge.
Okay.
No, he looked at. We had that little moment where like, you're gonna do it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I did it.
Were you staring him down, like almost borderline ignoring the cashier as you're purchasing it?
No, here's what I did. I was walking up. And you know how you kind of like look around at things while you're waiting? I'm like looking around, and then our eyes just kind of met, and I was like, oh. And he sees the pack on my shoulder, and he's like, oh, you're gonna do it? You're gonna do that? I'm like, yeah.
Gonna do that? I'm doing it.
It was like a head nod and a head nod.
Okay.
That's what it was. You know how guys do that.
So so the takeaway from this, the terrible advice is that there's no minimum pack capacity. Like, you can get away with anything if you pack smart enough like Derek.
Look, I didn't tell him. Look, Chris, I shouldn't have said his name. We can omit that. I've done a trip with a fanny pack.
Okay.
Wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I came back from it and I survived. So,
all right.
No, I don't know. I mean, I think he in general has pretty good input, actually. We talked about many things over the years, but with that one, yeah.
Okay.
If you're determined enough, I mean, we've interviewed people that have had I think one of the ladies we interviewed, I can't remember who it was. Her pack was like 18 or 19 pounds. And I'm like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
That was incredible. So it's doable.
There's ways. We'll get to that. That's a different episode. We're getting off topic.
It's a different episode.
Wait, do you hear that?
What?
There's a phone call. Is somebody calling
Wait.
Is somebody calling into our show?
Hang on.
Did you give our phone number out again? Are you kidding me?
I've never given the number out. I think you gave it out.
Hello?
Oh, there it is.
Who's this?
Guys.
Is that John Kelly from the Backpacking Podcast?
Wow.
It is.
Are you hacking into our show? Are you kidding me? All right, so we're on mine, I think. Getting back to worst things experts say in backpacking. I don't know if we can count anything that was just said right there, but let's keep moving. Okay.
Let's get back to it.
I think you've heard this one before, and I think you'd actually agree with me on this one. Yeah. There's a saying, bring 2 pounds of food per person per day on a backpacking trip.
Per person per day?
Yeah, 2 pounds of food. So that includes dehydrated food.
That's a lot.
So you're going to end up, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So this is actually, I found this on our good friend Section Hiker's website.
Oh, really?
Correct.
Our old pal Section Hiker that I discovered.
If we can ever get him on our show, I'll actually ask him about this specifically. But
I think it's too much.
Yeah, well, no, it depends. It just depends.
Well, okay,
are you going on a really intense trip like we went on last summer in Banff? Like, that's not enough, man. I want more than 2 pounds of food per person. If you're going on like a Derek trip where it's like 2 miles a day, that's way too much. Yeah. Way too much.
Costco trips require more than 2 pounds a day. So I get it. Yeah, it obviously depends on your meat on the trip.
So I think, this is one of the hardest things to do is to figure out how much food to bring, caloric expenditure, caloric intake. If you're going on a hard trip, typically you're not going to be able to eat as much as you want to. Anyway, you're going to be at a deficit. But having a standard and not thinking through how hard the days are with how much food you're packing, I think that's too general. I think that's bad. I think it's terrible advice.
I would agree.
Okay.
Yes. I think you have to. I think we've talked about before about mapping out your food appropriately before each trip, organizing it day by day, and then kind of looking at like, well, this is how many miles we're doing. This is about what our elevation gain will be. And then do you add a little bit more for unknowns? I don't know. But I think just standard 2 pounds a day, even on a basic trip. Some of our trips haven't been that much elevation, and it's like I've had extra food, and then we
Oh, yeah.
talked about like, oh well, I'm gonna try to get it as close to zero as possible.
Right.
So
Yeah, there's also, I've skipped dinners before. I want to save my expensive meals for the next time because if I don't need them, I'm
we
not gonna
ran
use
short
them.
though. I think we ran short last trip, if I remember
You
right.
think so? That was a really big deal, man. Everybody ran short. That was
I ran
yeah.
short. That was my
You
mistake.
say like, I think when you say
yeah.
like other contingencies or other things like, unexpected things, I think you're talking about things where you're like, people get into your food, or like I shared some food and then it never made it back to me. Like that's happened before.
But I think you were fine. You had like 4 pounds of gummy bear, so you ended up being okay.
Different story. Yeah. Different story.
I'm not gonna eat that gummy bear grossness.
Okay. All right. So what's your next one?
Mine, I got this advice a long time ago. This is before I started eating better, before I started eating healthier. I think somebody was like, well, if you're gonna be out on the trail and you get low blood sugar, just eat a bunch of sugar like cookies and chips and candy and trail mix with M&Ms. And they listed all the stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay.
What chips are you eating that have sugar in them? I know that.
Well, not chips. Well, no,
Okay.
you can use chips. They have like those little peanut, like cinnamon chips and stuff.
Okay.
So that's what I did for a while. And then you realize like how not great you feel. Because I think I'm comparing it to now, like what I eat now.
Right.
And it just caused a lot of like inflammation. It caused a lot of inflammation in your body. And you have that crash, right? You eat all the M&Ms and the trail mix, and it's like you just crash when you're done. And I hated the way it felt. I don't ever really get headaches, and my head would start hurting a little bit. So I think that was not... probably some of the worst advice I got.
I don't eat a lot of that stuff, but I do say some stuff for the trail. I'll be honest.
You have M&Ms usually though.
Yeah.
Right?
What I try to have at least the Trader Joe's ones where it's not. Yeah, it's like it's still sugar, but it's not chemicals.
You're not like overloading it. I used to bring like bags of Famous Amos cookies and
yeah.
bags of
but
licorice.
tell us. So what are you doing instead? What solves that problem now?
We've talked about, I think it's just eating cleaner, healthier, right? So you can do like high protein. Like the protein bars have a little sugar in it, but they're like high protein. I would do what did I eat last year? I think I brought some vegetables. I brought like cucumbers on the trip one year. I brought
so you're climbing a mountain, your energy's starting to tank a little bit, and you're like, these cucumbers.
I think anything that I can eat that's more natural than processed junk.
I get that, but cucumbers aren't gonna. They're not a high calorie, high carb foods. They're not gonna.
They have a lot of good stuff in there though. No, I'm not just eating cucumbers. So we can spin off of that little tangent if you want. But
all right, sounds like you don't really know. Sounds like you don't know what you actually, except from cucumbers.
Sounds like I don't know what I'm eating.
And energy bars, Snickers bars.
Just straight up Snickers bars is all I'm eating. Just Snickers candy bars everywhere I go.
All right.
We've had food episodes about this many times, so I'm not going to rehash, but it's eating cleaner, avoiding processed.
Okay.
Go with that.
All right. Here's a piece of advice I can't believe is still on a website that I found. This is on the Outward Bound website. And
Outward Bound.
Yeah. Okay. So they're an organization that guides trips and does team building stuff while you're out there.
Okay.
And so they've been around forever. And I would say they know their stuff, man. Like they've been very successful for very many years. Here's what they said. You don't need a pillow. Use a sleeping bag stuff sack filled with clothing instead.
I mean, it's not like the pillow is wonderful.
Yeah. The pillow industry is a trend that's taking off and continuing. It's like spiking. It's taking off because people realize they want to get good sleep. Some people do this. Like, I'm not saying nobody does this. I'm just saying that we have so many pillow options for not that much money that this seems silly to me.
I think it is silly.
Yeah.
I think it is silly.
Yeah. So I think that invest the 2 ounces minimum into a pillow, maybe more if you really want good sleep.
A good pillow is just a game changer, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
actually going to buy one. Like Trekology came out with one I don't think it's meant for backpacking. It's like 9 ounces. It's like ridiculously heavy, but it's massive. It's borderline the size of your pillow at home. I'm going to try that on the next backpacking trip just to get better sleep.
I thought you got one of those down pillows. Didn't you get one of those?
I got one of those, but the one I had, it was like thick, but it just sunk in too much when I put my
it didn't support your head enough.
Yeah, not enough.
Okay.
So, all right, that's mine. What else you got?
The socks. I mean, this is before we went on the first trip, before I talked to any of you guys and asked proper advice, somebody was like, yeah, you don't need, just wear whatever. I'm like, what do I need to wear? And
like, who's telling you this? Where's this advice coming from?
These are just friends around that have been like outdoors and on their own hikes and stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what to bring. I don't know what to bring. So they're like, I'm like, I don't need any special like shoes, socks. Get your hiking socks. Yeah, just wear your socks and just get some hiking shoes. You'll be fine.
Okay, and these
how many pairs of cotton socks did I bring my first trip? 3, 4?
But just to clarify, these you call them friends around. These are
friends,
experts.
my friends. These are my friends.
I get that. I get
you.
that.
You listen, everybody. This is what I love about Carl. His communication is so horrible. He texts me. He's like, "Hey," this is what he says. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna be doing like 2 or 3 like horrible advice stories. If it's personal," he said. He said, "Like I got it right here." He's like, "Look at, come up with 2 or 3 what the experts say, but it's better if you know where you heard it, and it's better if it happened to you." So I'm like, okay, well,
yeah,
there you go. It happened to me.
But
then you mock it. I don't understand.
Yeah, because you're saying friends around
some are
are
not.
Experts. Who are these?
I'm giving you all kinds. I got the REI pack expert.
Yeah,
I got the friends one that was personal. What else do you want? Huh? What else do you want?
Okay, if you're talking about friends,
you want me to Google stuff on the website?
No.
You want me to give you one of those too?
If you're talking about friends, I'm even talking about friends on our trip. I don't know that I would trust any of them as experts.
You wanted personal stories as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing all of it.
Moving along.
I didn't say they were experts.
Apparently,
then we need to recant your issue with the trekking poles.
Yeah,
you know?
This is my issue. Derek misinterpreted the episode title. My bad, everybody. All right.
These are trends that we're going to crash and die, but I'm going to talk about trekking poles that are going to sort of lightly peter out, sort of, and plateau. You do the same thing, and yet here we are.
Touche.
All right, what do you got? I know you have a long list. Let's see what else you got.
Let's go with all right, so this one I found 2 conflicting pieces of advice, and I think that neither are correct actually. So one is on the REI website, and one is from a blogger or writer that actually gets quite a few hits called the Brooks Range Writer. One says you should never bring a book. One says you should always bring a book. Yeah. So, and I think neither of them are right. I think you should sometimes bring a book. If you want to read a book, bring one. If you don't, leave it. That's it.
Then what? You got to limit the pages too? Can it be on a Kindle? Can it be on a?
You want. I think if you enjoy reading outside, bring one. But I don't think you always have to bring one, and I don't think you should never bring one.
You know what I like? You know what I like, Carl? I'm going to be honest with you. I like a good occasional audiobook.
Okay.
Then
bring one.
Maybe I will.
All right.
It's right on my phone.
Okay.
There you go.
Next one.
Yeah. Go ahead. That's all. No, I gave you mine. Right. What are you had the long
I'm going to run through my list. Okay. So on the REI website, it also says plan for every contingency. Well, every contingency.
Yes, that is extreme.
Okay. So
you can't do that.
There's a chance that my sleeping bag could get soaked and could become unusable. So therefore I should bring a second sleeping bag. Is that what it's saying?
I don't know if that's exactly what it's saying.
That's the implication, right?
Yeah.
Every contingency.
Over planning.
Yeah.
You could plan for forever, essentially. Yeah. I mean, you're still not going to be ready.
I'm going to take calculated risks. One risk I'm going to take is that Derek's not going to pack a water bladder into my backpack. Therefore, my backpack will stay internally dry. So I'm not packing.
We're going back to that. Okay. Yeah. Let me just make a note that I care.
Make a note. Start writing notes. All right.
Good.
Do you agree with that one?
About the water bladder? No.
You don't need to plan for every single contingency.
Yeah,
you got to take calculated risks.
That's part of the adventure, people.
Exactly. Use common sense.
Part of the adventure.
Use common sense. Okay. Next one I've got is, let's see. This one, I probably had the strongest reaction to. This is actually from the Jetboil website. And we've been fans of Jetboil over the years, but they said that first-time backpackers should know how to fix gear. It's an invaluable aspect of backpacking. You'll want to know how to fix tent poles, deal with torn backpacks, and any other unforeseen circumstances that may pop up. This is for first-time backpackers, that they should know how to do all of these things.
I mean, YouTube can help you, right?
Why not? You feel like you should know how to fix literally every single piece of gear and plan for every contingency before going on your first backpacking trip.
No, I do think you should try to know how to repair a ripped, maybe sleeping bag or something. It's like a couple of the basic things, right? First aid things, maybe a ripped sleeping bag. They give you a little kit.
Yeah, maybe a couple things. How about this?
But if your stove busts, you're not going to know how to do that. Usually.
How about you just bring a roll of duct tape and call it good on your first trip? That could solve your tent pole issue, torn backpack. It can solve that torn.
Are you bringing the full roll? You going to bring a full roll of duct tape?
If I'm new to backpacking, I don't know any better. Yeah.
Okay. That's
If I'm more experienced, I might bring like you can buy smaller rolls, of course, or
like
if
a
I do
half
my
roll.
research. But I just think that's overkill to to the 10th power.
It is
basically.
overkill. How much duct tape do you bring now?
They have these mini rolls. I actually include as part of my first aid kit.
Do you?
Very mini. Fits in there.
Very many, like 1 square inch.
Less than that.
Okay.
Just kidding. All right. Next one I've got is okay. I got a couple. This one is if I want to go for a hike or a drive to see the fall colors, I'm a leaf peeper.
I'm sorry, what?
Have
A
you heard this
leaf
phrase?
peeper?
Leaf
No.
peeper. So a Vermont newspaper in the 1960s came up. They coined this phrase.
Are you making this up?
No,
right
I'm
now?
not. No.
Okay.
And you might not know because of where you live, but this is
No.
definitely a thing in places that have fall colors, including Colorado. They're like, hey, why don't you go leaf peeping this weekend? The leaves are in full bloom, or they're maxing
peeping.
out with their colors. And so this Vermont newspaper coined the phrase in the 1960s, and people kind of think it's funny. I think it's like the dumbest phrase ever.
I feel like that gave me like a Tourette reaction. Like if you ever said to me, let's go leaf peep, I feel like my natural reaction would be to slap you in the face.
Right, exactly. And I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people would want to do that. And I think if you said that, I'd want to slap you in the face, but there's lots of things you can say which make me want to do that too.
That's true. That's yeah.
Right.
I got a list of my own right here.
All right, I got one more.
Okay, one more. What do we got?
Actually, I got two more. Essentials. According to the Brunton website, they say that you always need to bring a compass and survival mirror. What do you think about that?
Survival mirror.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that they have them now where they're extremely like basically no weight, right? So I don't think that's a bad thing. Is it like excessively necessary with today's technology and the beacons? Probably not, but I don't think it's like horrible to throw it in there. Anything safety, I don't think is like bad, but like, let's be honest. You have your mirror and you're out in the middle of nowhere and what is gonna, are people really flying over looking for that? And they're gonna, it's,
if you're camouflage or you're in a spot where it's hard. Then I could see the case for that. I don't know. In all the survival stories I've read about or watched, like I haven't seen anybody say it was the mirror that brought the
We just interviewed Dixie, right? And she's like, I had brightly colored ABCD and they still had a hard time following me.
They did, but she just waved her tent and she had,
blue. Was it blue or something like that?
Right. But the beacons should be able to locate you within about 30 feet. So I think that's overkill. And here's why I think this is bad is because a lot of people wouldn't even know how to use the survival mirror. And most people that have compasses, they have them in their backpacks. They really don't know how to use them. They just feel obligated to bring them.
True.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Last one.
Okay.
Last one.
Go ahead.
If you struggle, this is from the expert is a podcast host. Okay. So the so-called expert.
Wait for it. Here we go. Sleeping pad.
If you struggle with anger rage, break one of your trekking poles.
Wow. Yeah. The amount of horses beaten on this podcast to a pulp is amazing.
All right. That's it for my list, man. That's it.
That was fairly decent. I like it. It was good.
Okay. All right. So you got
there's a lot of bad advice out there.
And
we have bad advice trivia for you.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing that coming up next.
All right, man. What you got?
All right. We got bad advice trivia. This is fill in the blank today. We're going to get a little tricky on you. I know you hate fill in the blank. We're going to do it. I think you'll be okay. I think you know all of these if you turn your brain on. And we'll see what happens. So we got 3 questions. So I'm gonna read the sentence, title, whatever you want to call it, and then you can fill in with the correct words.
Okay.
Success is a blank, not a blank. You've heard this before.
No.
Come on.
I'm sure that whatever the right answer is, like, I'll be like, oh yeah, now I've heard it.
Okay, I'll reword it. It's all about the blank, not the blank.
It's all about the trip or the preparation, not the outcome or the destination.
I'm going to give that to you.
Okay.
It's success is a journey, not a destination.
Okay. Right? I said destination. Don't give it to me.
I gave you the destination. You didn't say the journey though, but I'm going to give it to you. It's a load of malarkey. And I think the analogy
malarkey. What? It's all about the destination for you?
Well, okay. We were just talking. I was just looking at this, and they were giving the analogy of like, well, you don't tell like a football team it's all about the journey. You're there to win the Super Bowl. It's about the destination, right?
That's true.
So it's not all about the journey. I think Sometimes like the journey's great, but like,
No, I soak in the journey. I don't like that saying more because it's a cliche. So that's
it's
my
cliche.
issue.
That's probably why I don't know. Yeah, the journey is fun, but
Right.
okay. Number 2, business decisions should be based on blank, not blank.
Okay, I don't know the first word, but it's got to be something having to do with like objectivity or data versus emotions.
Logic, not emotion. That's good. I'll give it to you. That was good. Wow. You are ready today. You already passed trivia. I'm so excited for you. Number 3 is freebie.
Okay.
Do what you love and the blank will follow.
Success.
I'm going to give you a hint. Do what you love and the blank will follow. It is not success.
Okay.
Money. The money will follow. So I guess I beg the question, does that involve podcasting?
It's not true. That's
Garage sailing? Video gaming? Well, I guess if you're good enough, video gaming, but
nah, maybe not.
not in my case.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a Bible proverb right there. So I agree. That's bad advice. What was the second one? It was, so you don't think that you think some business decisions should be made based on emotion.
This isn't just me. This is on the website. Yeah, it was saying that like, yes, some decisions should be made with logic, but if you erase like your passion out of what you're doing or the emotion of what you're doing, it's going to be lackluster. It's going to be hollow, right? So you want to combine both essentially, which I agree with. You don't want to.
Dude, I don't think it's a business decision, but I try to make decisions where I'm like pretty upfront, like here are expectations for whatever.
Yeah.
But if I leave the emotion or the relationship side of things out of it, then I come across as cold-hearted, right?
I think there's a time to be more logical and there's a time to be more emotional. I think you got to discern which one is which. But
it's related to backpacking. So for example, I had to put in for a permit recently for our upcoming summer trip. We're going to Desolation Wilderness, and I want to make sure we get it because we have a big group, and so I kind of sign up right when the permit spots open. And so when I sign up, I'm not even asking people to commit like I 100% am in. I'm just asking people to commit to the point where they're like, if I end up bailing, I'll at least cover the cost of the permits, right?
That's what I told you.
Yeah. Well, I know that you're in a different situation. I'm not talking about you for this one. But
well,
there's one person that I had to ask. So I think I asked 3 times and they either didn't respond or they're like, yeah, I'm like 70% or something like that. And so after 3 times, I could easily be like, dude, you didn't. I could just say, look, you just get your own permit if you decide to come, right? I'm asking for like a $15 commitment here. This is not that big of a deal.
Right.
So should I ask the 4th time? What do you think?
And they gave you 70% after the 3rd time?
Yeah, it was like first time was 70%, then like a non-response, then like a general answer. And so now it's night before I'm getting the permits and I've got to decide how many I'm getting, how many I'm reserving.
I think that's tomorrow. You're talking about tomorrow. Well, that's put you in a tough bind. I think I mean, I would have said before you were down to the wire, I would have been like, I need to know by this date if you guys are in or out for the 15. Otherwise, I'm going to like not count you or give your spot away to somebody.
Yeah, and I said those things, but logically speaking, if you go with kind of with what your trivia question was, logically, like I've given fair warning, I've asked 3 times, that's sufficient. But if I put the heart into it, this person like goes out of their way to come on our backpacking trips. They've been very consistent and they value our trips maybe more than anybody else, and they let me know it. So
true,
like, very heartfelt. So I asked the 4th time.
I know who you're talking about. That's true. I mean, I think that it's tough. I think it's $15 though, right? So I would just be like,
and for me, it's not the 15. It's more just that over the years, it's been like 15 times 4 people that either don't pay or, have issues with that. And so then that's kind of adds
I just think this is where I think you put yourself in a tough spot because you are compassionate. You want people to go who want to go. And I get that. And I love that about you. But I think at the same time, you're going to get this like awkward half percentage-y kind of responses from people. And it's annoying. It's just annoying for sure. So
that's right. It's all right. I don't know. We figured it out. But so actually, your trivia is actually really good. It's like a good discussion trivia. We could probably talk about this a lot longer, but
You're welcome. Like all my trivia. Right.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, all of yours is genius.
Yeah.
People think that for sure. All right. I got a couple tidbits. You ready?
Sure. Yeah, go.
All right. So we've got some B&B stickers out there. I know there's some sticker folks. You like putting them on your 6-ounce empty Nalgene bottle, whatever, your storage bins, whatever. So I'm going to call them bribery stickers. So Anybody joins Patreon, you want stickers, let me know. I'll send them to you. You leave us a review, specifically like on the Apple Podcast app. It's been a while since we've gotten one, at least at the time we're recording this. Yeah, please leave a review, and we will bribe you with some limited edition B&B stickers. Limited edition. They might change, so you could be in on that. So there's that. And then let's see. Recently, we had Justin Outdoors on our show, and then we mentioned that he was part of the Backpacking Hall of Fame. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay.
Curious question though. Why do you still have an old? This is for the YouTubers. Carl still has like his old tagline on there from like weeks ago. What's going on with that? It says Carl actually knows what a beacon is. We did a beacon episode
I fixed
a few weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah, let's cut that out. But no, I fixed it. But then when I pop back on, it must not have defaulted to the new one.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, that's lame.
I do remember talking about Justin's being part of the Hall of Fame that we created.
Okay.
So
Philip responded to that, and he's like, most Hall of Fames have special jackets. So what kind of jacket do you think
wait. Most Hall of Fames have special jackets? Does like the MLB have I don't know if they have jackets?
You might have found one that doesn't. I'm not saying all do. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm not a Hall of Fame expert. I don't know.
No. I mean, I know the Masters of the golf, they have a jacket, right?
NFL football does.
That's a thing.
Anyway, what kind of jacket should the Backpacking Hall of Fame get Justin?
I feel like it should be like a denim sheepskin wool jacket.
Okay.
It's more naturey, right?
I was thinking like if we're in charge of the budget, since we're coming up with the idea of the Backpacking Hall of Fame, based on the budget that we have, it'd probably be some sort of like leftover rain jacket that no longer is waterproof.
Yeah. Like a half-used poncho.
Yeah.
Been out in the sun for a while.
So, Justin, if you're still listening, man, reach out. We'll send that to you.
I'll give you like a used poncho. I could find one here somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Anytime.
That, my friend, is all I got.
That's all I got, guys. Always a pleasure. Thank you for roughing it through with us. Sometimes I get this information like an hour before the show, so I sound way less prepared than Carl, and he likes to mock me for it. That's totally fine, but I'm going to use Carl's life mantra on the outro. If you can't battle him with brilliance, you battle him with nonsense. We'll see you next time.